Welcome to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison.
I'm Molly, a former skeptic turned full-time energy healer and teacher.
And I'm Madison, a born and raised witch running my family's crystal shop.
And we're here to explore all things woo through the lens of both science and spirituality so that you can find the moments of magic in your everyday life and create an intentional spiritual practice.
So if that's what you're into, find a cozy spot, take a deep breath, and let's demystify some magic.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody.
Imagine it's just 45 minutes of this straight.
Well, we are certainly using our lungs, which we're going to talk about today, so it feels relevant.
Yeah, we're just warming you up.
Just our vocal warm-ups together. Ma 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 ma. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.
Can we tell who was the theater kid here?
All right, today we are talking about the heart chakra. The heart chakra.
The energy in the studio today is strange, everybody.
It's not as hot here, but my office is still sweltering. So we're up here, we're melting, brain and all.
We're just, we're doing our best.
Doing our best.
And we're speaking from the heart.
We're speaking from the heart, baby, which is what it's all about today. We're going to talk about the heart chakra. If you've been following along in the series, you know the drill by now. If you haven't, I'm going to need you to back up and go listen to the root episode before I pull all the rest of these episodes off the air.
We're going to make them all password protected.
If we see that the heart has more listens than the root, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
We actually got a message on Instagram that I cackled at, where someone started message us and said that they started the sacral chakra episode, listened to us yell about how you needed to go back to the root. And she goes, I just paused it and I'm going back to listen to the root now. I just had to let you know that you totally called me out.
Well, there we go. See, so I have to say it every single time because I know the heart's a popular one. We all want to work on the heart, but if you haven't worked on your root, don't even bother. Don't bother.
But if you did listen to the root,
welcome. You're here.
We're like the TikToks that are like, if you're so-and-so, keep scrolling.
Yeah. Okay, now that it's just us who've done our root work.
Who's done our root work. Let's talk about the heart.
Madison, before we dive into the heart, what was your magic moment of the week?
My magic moment of the week is that my greatest fear happened yesterday.
Ooh.
2 days ago. Sorry, 2 days ago. So I had a fully booked reading day at Spellcrafter on Saturday. I had 7 readings in a row with no break.
Boop, 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 boop.
It was truly bonkers town, USA. Usually the way people book, just naturally, there's like longer breaks in between readings. Not this weekend. It was, you're getting your structurally system designated 15-minute break in between. You get to go pee, eat a sour Skittle, and that's it. It was so much fun. But when I get really nervous about readings, it usually comes from this place of like almost feeling like it's like the same nervousness that you get before you take a test. Mm-hmm. Of like, I'm going to have to prove to this person how much I know about this thing through tarot. And so I always have like a little self-soothing moment with myself of like, no one who's coming to you doesn't want to be there.
Aww.
People who pay for a tarot reading want a tarot reading.
Yeah. They're not hate booking with you.
And that was true for 6 out of 7 readings yesterday.
Oh, no.
I had my first, like, true skeptic.
Oh, no.
Like, drag along. He was there with his good friend who he like, helped her with something, and so she gifted him a reading. And they were, like, came together, whatever. And he went first out of the 2 of them. Sat down. He was perfectly nice. It was fine. But sat down and basically was like, I'm giving you nothing. I'm not going to speak to you.
Love that.
I'm not going to tell you if any of this resonates, even if you ask.
Great.
And basically, I just had to give a 30-minute TED Talk.
How was it?
It was actually pretty good. And he had a good sense of humor about it. It was like all fine. He wasn't like, he was a skeptic, not a cynic. Everything was all,
Yeah.
you know. And I lived.
You lived.
You know? And it was the moment I looked at him, I could just tell. I could just see it written all over his face. Where I was like, oh, you don't want to be, like, this is not your ideal Saturday afternoon. But you know what? At the end, he told me that he could see, like, he told me that things did resonate. And it was it was like taking a test.
Yeah. Those are fun.
It was exactly what I had always feared. But he was like asking me like very logistical questions about tarot of like, okay, so these cards came out together. You said this means this. How do you get from point A to point B? And so I kind of got to like teach a little bit in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so funny. Of like all the things that I was so nervous about, the one thing that I'm like really easily able to self-soothe myself about was immediately flipped over. And the universe was like, see, you can handle it. Everything's fine. Yeah. Even if someone gives you absolutely nothing. Because like for those who haven't maybe had a ton of tarot readings, it really is the best when it's a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Context is everything. I always joke like, oh, there's being psychic, but I can't read your mind. You know, I can know what's being presented in front of me, but it's always so much easier and you'll get so much more out of it if it's a give and take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I gave my 30-minute sermon
on
the logistics of tarot. And everybody lived. And he even had a good time.
Those are my favorite readings to do, honestly. I think like as a former skeptic myself, it really forces me to put my entire skepticism aside. Like I always have like 1% skepticism still. Like I think that part of me is always going to be in the back of my head, just like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure? But the more I've done full body energy readings, and I've had people just literally write like my back hurts and like nothing else.
Yeah.
And I'm not like in conversation with them. I'm recording them like on my own and tuned into their energy. And it's like the first couple of times it happened, I was like, oh my God, I have no idea. Like very specific things would come to me and I would have to say them and just be like, I hope you have not, you know, like, right? Mm-hmm. Like very specific. But the first time I did one where there's no context, I literally had the person DM me and was like, I specifically gave you no context and you landed on the root cause right off. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, cool. And now they're my favorite to do because I almost like have to fully surrender to spirit. You know, like I can't be in my mind at all because there's nothing up there. There's no context.
Well, I wish he had said something like that at the end. He just said thank you. Left.
It's such a powerful, like, I always feel like those types of clients show up when you are A, ready, and B, need that message of like, I don't need to rely on external validation.
That's not what we're here for.
Also, I can't help but notice you are drinking a milk protein shake.
I am.
Listen, sure hope it doesn't curdle.
I've got AC. I'm drinking at a normal rate. So the thing about me in a protein shake is that it has to be ice cold.
Yeah.
And so if I'm outside, that temperature change happens very quickly. So my window for drinking is much shorter.
So you have to chug it.
Yes. I'm in the crisp pool 72 degrees of my home. I
Must
can
be nice.
sip. Yeah, not to brag. All right. What was your magic moment this week?
Okay, my magic moment was that I took Friday off, which I know you're like, that doesn't seem that exciting, Molly, but I am someone that I really struggle to take time off, not because I like am an overextender, overachiever. I've definitely like healed that part of myself, I think mostly, kind of, probably. But I just really like what I do. And so it's really hard for me, like if there are things I can do and I don't have anything like going on and I'm just at home, it's hard for me to like choose something other than work, which is like something I'm so grateful for. And also the last couple of months I've been doing that and then feeling like I don't have enough weekend. Like I clean my house on Saturdays and then like Sundays I feel like, wow, I'm going back to work tomorrow. Like I don't have time to just chill and like read my books and whatever. So I have committed myself ever since the summer solstice. My commitment was 3-day weekends through the rest of the summer. And this was my first chance. And I had a bunch of readings that I could have done on Friday. And I knew I was working Saturday because I had like a training and things like that. So it was especially important for me to take Friday off. But my cute little brain Friday morning was like, well, you could just work today because you don't have tomorrow off. So like, what's the point of taking one day off? You know, you just take Sunday off. And I literally texted you and I was like, please be mean to me if I work tomorrow.
I responded and I said, okay, if you do any work on Friday, we're in a fight.
Yeah. And so I got up, leisurely time. I ignored my very full inbox. I had a message from my community manager, Jade, who listens to the podcast. Hi, Jade.
Hi, Jade.
And I literally said to her, I was like, can you send me an email with this so I can deal with it tomorrow? Because if I dive into this, I'm going to want to go fully into it. And if I work today, Madison's going to be mad at me and I need to record with her on Monday.
Did you really say that? That's so funny. For the sake of the podcast, I have to take Friday off. Because if we're fighting, then the heart episode is going to feel all weird.
Yep. Blamed it on you.
I'm always available to take the blame. You know what? For anyone listening, if you need to take a day off, blame it on me. Don't even give any context about who I am. Just say, oh my God, Madison will be so mad at me if I don't uphold this commitment that I made to myself to take the day off. I'm so sorry, but I cannot do whatever it is you need me to do.
Yeah. So I went to the beach first thing in the morning, read my book in the sand. I did a little crystal journey, a journey to Saturn. I was supposed to journey to Venus because you and I talked about this. I was like, I want to journey to the planet that's associated with my rising sign. But then I was like, I came out of it and I was like, why'd I go to Saturn? So anyways, me and Saturn hung out.
Fun.
In the sun for a little while. And then I got tired of the sun and I went home and read my book in my air conditioning. I cleaned my house so I didn't have to do that all weekend. And you know what happened at the end of the day, Saturday, after I got done with work? I was like, wow, I have like a lot of time to just chill because I don't have to clean my house and my laundry's done. And I felt refreshed and it was amazing. So looking forward to taking Fridays off through the rest of the summer.
We'd love to see it.
We'd love to see it.
All right. You ready to yap about the heart chakra?
Well, first I want to answer a question that we got approximately 723 times over the weekend.
Approximately.
And I was listening to the solar plexus episode to review yesterday. You will have already listened to it, of course. So we kind of answered it, but I want to specifically answer it. So the question that we kept getting was, how do you know when it's time to move on from a chakra to go to the next one? When do you know you've healed the root enough that you can move on? Basically, all of our people, and they were all like cute. They were like, I want to, my people pleaser wants a gold star before I move on. And and we just wanted to very bluntly point out that you will never be done. Like the purpose of this series isn't for you to like listen to a sound bath and roll your feet out and be like, I'm done with the root forever. Next.
I will give you all the gold stars that you want and need, but this is not a checkbox podcast series. This is not like, okay, I've done this, now we can move on.
Yeah. And also, you can work on chakras simultaneously. So the example that I gave on Instagram was, for me, I've been working on my root chakra pretty consistently for years because when I worked with survivors of sexual violence, I didn't see the world as a safe place. So that really threw my root out. And also, it impacted my sacral chakra because I really didn't trust people. I didn't trust the world. I didn't, it really impacted my view of sexuality and intimacy and things like that. And so it's not that I have to work on the root before I work on the sacral. It's that my awareness of those things can help me work on them together. Knowing that healing my relationship with intimacy and healing my relationship with fear and my understanding of like the world being a safe place is going to heal both of those centers. And so when you are doing this work, it's not that, I have to do the root forever until I'm fixed. It's that your awareness of, when I'm out of balance, what's bringing me out of balance and what I need to come back into balance is what you're working towards rather than trying to constantly be in balance, which is impossible. So it's one of those things where I always say like, you're going to come out of balance. What are you going to do about it? right? Are you going to avoid that fear? Are you going to pretend like it's not happening? Are you just going to bypass that and move up to the heart? Or are you going to be conscious of, okay, this is why my root might be a little wonky. This is what I need to do to find balance again. And I'm going to do that while I'm working on my heart.
Yeah, I think that, the purpose of this series is really more to give you the tools to support yourself in an evergreen journey, a nonstop. Yeah. It's you get on the train and you're just going. There's no destination.
Yeah. It's always a journey. Always a journey. So hopefully that answers your question. Also, I will say, I said this on Instagram, if you feel like you need a gold star before you can move on from your healing journey in any aspect, that might be a sign you need some solar plexus work.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a sign. A lot of us need solar plexus work because participation trophies is what I always say. Like, we learned that our external validation matters more than internal validation. And that's very much imbalance in the solar plexus, right? Like, you need to learn to have your own back and to be able to say to yourself, like, no, I've got this. I'm ready to move on. I don't need someone to tell me outside of myself.
That's so interesting as a take. I hadn't considered that.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, back to the heart. To the heart of the issue.
Yeah, let's get right to the heart of it.
Sorry, I just thought of a pun for later.
I actually felt disappointed right before we started recording because I was like, this is going to be such an easy one for Molly to make puns about. Like, there's no way that we're going to, she's just going to excel in this area. I don't even, I can hear them in my head right now. I don't even get to get excited about what they might be.
Well, let's just wait a beat.
Womp womp.
Okay, heart. So, heart is located. You may or may not be able to guess.
I'll give you 3 chances.
Center of your chest. Very easy one to remember where it is. But we often call it like the heart space. I will say that this one, even though it's has the same name as an organ in your body, they're not your heart organ is a little bit off center, but your heart chakra is more centered. So they have similar functions. There's similarities between them, but they're not the same thing, if that helps, if anyone had that question. Your heart is connected to your sense of connection, of grief, of love, of joy, of self-love, compassion, empathy, basically what connects us to other people. And the visual that I always give my students is if you were going in for a hug from someone, your hearts are most connected when you are most connected in that hug. So think of it as your ability to connect with other people, but also your ability to connect with yourself. Energetically, they correspond with the upper back, the chest, the lungs, right? The space between the shoulder blades, the shoulders, all the way down the arms to the hands. There's this saying in the energy world that the hands are the motor organs of the heart. We think about that hug, right? Your hands go behind the person's heart. Your hearts are connected. It's like this heart sandwich when you're hugging your buddy.
Not the heart sandwich.
It's a gluten-free heart sandwich.
Farm to table, baby. Farm to table.
And so you can remember the element of this one. The element is air. And I always remember it because the lungs. It's right near the lungs. So if you were how do I remember the elements? Lungs, breathe air, heart, connected. Okay. The other way that I think about it is the air is what connects all of us. Right? We're all breathing the same air in and out. And when we're in a space, we're breathing the same air that the plants are breathing and whatever. So that helps you kind of connect with that. What I will say is I see this show up in when I do full body energy readings, which is where I basically you tell me where you have tension in the body and I tune into your energy and I kind of pinpoint what the emotional or energetic cause is for that tension. I get so many with tension in this area, and it's always connected to something in the heart. So some of the reasons why people hold tension here and how imbalances in the heart can show up is as upper back pain, as neck pain, as shoulder pain. I see it as if you are someone who cares really, really deeply and you think of it if you have a heavy heart, right? The heart is literally being pulled down, your shoulders are being pulled forward. Of course, you're going to have tension in your upper back. right? Or if you are guarding your heart, right? So some people, they have really tense between the shoulder blades because they're guarding the back of their heart. Of course, you're going to have tension in the shoulders and the neck. Or the other thing that I've been seeing lately, and it's so funny because I've seen this for a long time in my clients, but I never had a visual for it, like an analogy for it, until I read Akatar.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Here we go. So sometimes I see tension in the upper back when someone's in like a powerful transformation where they're like stepping into themselves. And you would think that is solar plexus, but it oftentimes is heart because they're no longer playing small. So think about when you're playing small and you're scared to take up space, you shrink into yourself, right? The shoulders come inward. But when you expand and take up space, now the shoulders roll backwards. The analogy that came to me in a reading the other day that finally clicked in was in Akatar, I can't remember which book it is, there is a character who grows wings for the first time. And she describes that experience as like the muscles in her back have to relearn how to carry this weight.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I see when I think about like if you've had tension there and all of a sudden you're playing bigger and now like the tension increases. It's like you're going from playing small to like literally spreading your wings. Your back has to readjust to that weight and your body has to readjust to the new way that you're carrying yourself.
Yeah, it's using muscles that you've never used before.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's the heart space is very, very cool. It's just a very cool space because it kind of shows the duality of what these energy centers hold, right? Like the heart can hold your sense of love, your ability to love others, connect to others, but it also holds your grief. If we think about grief doesn't exist without love. You can't grieve something that you didn't love in to some degree. And so it's all about like feeling your feelings, which is such a cheesy way to say it. But like, if you have grief, allow yourself to grieve. Mm-hmm. If you have pain, allow yourself to feel it. If you are feeling the pain of other people, allow yourself to metabolize it so you're not holding on to it, right? And then the other thing that comes up in the heart is boundaries. Right. I see a lot of healers, helpers, caregivers, parents who have imbalances in the heart. They have upper back pain because they're just carrying too much. And something my teacher always said was, you can care, but you do not have to carry. Yeah. And so I think so much of the heart space is learning how to have your own back, have an open heart, but a strong backbone, right? Like being able to set boundaries and also still hold compassion for others.
Yeah. And going back to what you said about, if you're feeling and experiencing grief, allowing yourself to feel it, I think there's another level of like, if you're feeling and experiencing love, giving yourself permission to feel and share that love.
Yeah.
It's also like a vulnerability that is so intrinsic to the heart center.
Yeah. It's like the ability to receive. A lot of times when I see people with upper back tension, upper back pain, they have a reluctance to rely on other people for support, but they are supporters of other people.
Yes.
So allowing yourself to receive that love just as much as you give it out. And I don't just mean receive that love from other people, but yourself as well, right? Like you of all people deserve your love and compassion and kindness that you put out into the world.
Yeah, I think that's kind of going to be the center of all of the low effort rituals that we give you is finding that balance of showing love to others, showing love to yourself, and showing love to yourself in the ways that maybe we don't always see as loving, like things like boundaries.
Yeah, I think like ultimately connecting to self rather than disassociating from self. Like, what do I truly need? What do I truly feel rather than what do I think I should need or should feel?
Yeah. That one. Big time.
That one. Highlight. Double tap. Underline.
Quotation marks.
What do the kids say?
I don't know.
Retweet.
All right. So if you've been following me on my little sound healing journey that I've taken you through, the frequency that you're going to Google if you want to work on the heart chakra is 639 hertz.
And the seed sound is yum. Y-A-M. Yam.
Spelled like yam.
I love yams. Yum.
That's how you can remember. Your lungs are next to your heart, so it's air, and you love yams. You love them. Even if you don't like them, you love them.
I had to sing the song to remember, so.
I watched. It was great.
The colors are pink and green. This is one that has two colors, just like the root. So wearing green or wearing pink or any kind of, I love like when we get to like crystals, I love wearing these as necklaces for the heart because they lay right over the heart space.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be really powerful. Or painting your nails, scrunchies, wearing a fun lipstick if you're into that.
You haven't even mentioned my root manicure.
Oh my God. I thought about it the other day when you sent me that picture of your cat and I saw the red nails. I was like, root mani. Love that.
I really thought you were going to say something about it. But speaking of color magic, I thought of this the other day. So you may or may not know that I'm in the process of moving and I've been painting my house, which has been a lot of, color swatches on the wall, a lot of back and forth. Everything in my house is going to be green. And so that's how I got here with this episode. And I was thinking about it of like, oh, I wonder if this is because I love green. I love green. My partner loves green.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good earthy moment. And I also have thought about how the heart is not something that I've had to do. Not that I've had to do a ton of work on because we're all constantly working on all these things. But I feel like I don't have to do a ton of conscious work on my heart.
Mm.
And so this is a call for data. Tell me what your favorite color is, or what color is like all over in your heart or in your house. Sorry. What color is all over in your house? And tell me if there's a correlation between that color, the chakra that it aligns with, and your spiritual practice.
My favorite color is purple. My house is mostly blue. And also my second favorite color is teal. So that's cool.
And one thing that I know about my bestie Molly is that the throat, she's thriving in the throat.
She's thriving.
So I was just curious about that. That's something that I thought about because I've been trying to really be intentional with all of the choices that I make in this new space.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, what kind of energy am I bringing in, even with my paint colors? And that's what I want in my home.
That reminds me, a bunch of people have asked for like a moving/new home episode. We will get there after the Chakra series.
Yeah, because I'm the living experiment right now.
You know what's weird about colors? Favorite colors. So growing up, my favorite colors have always been teal and purple. And when I became an advocate, I worked originally with survivors of sexual violence and domestic violence, which the awareness ribbon colors are teal and purple.
Weird.
I know. Isn't that weird?
That is.
And I when I left that career, I was very adverse to those colors. Like I just wore a lot of black after. Mm-hmm. And very recently I updated my branding for my website and the colors just happen to work out to be teal and purple. I was like, wow, full circle moment. Love that. So yeah, pay attention to the colors that you are connected to. Okay, some low effort rituals. This is one I'm going to get on a little soapbox for because Madison read it and was like, what the fuck?
I was like, I know we're going to go somewhere. I can't wait to find out where we're going. I'm just in the passenger seat. I'm buckled up. I'm ready to go.
Okay, so if you are someone who has upper back pain or tension, you struggle to connect with your feelings, my guess is you also struggle to slow down. You have a very back, busy, go kind of mentality. This is what I see in my clients who have all of these things. So I want you to just think about if you are this person and you've had you're resonating so far. When you go to the grocery store, do you try to carry all of your groceries in all at once in one hand and overload your shoulder and then wonder why you have shoulder pain?
So when you wrote this, you wrote carrying your grocery in two hands. And I had the thought, doesn't everybody do that? I thought that was you giving heart chakra advice to carry all your groceries at once. And I was like, yeah, I do that every damn day.
No. My advice is if you struggle to feel your feelings, force yourself to take 2 trips.
No.
Because how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you blast through bringing your groceries in and you refuse to listen to what your body needs and give your shoulder a break, you're just enforcing that pattern in the rest of your life. So when you force yourself to slow down, say, okay, how much can my shoulder reasonably carry? How much can I carry without overloading myself? When you practice that with your groceries, you start to see that boundary form in other areas of your life. It forces you to slow down and notice, how much am I carrying? You can care. You do not have to carry. Bringing your groceries in more than one trip is a way to practice that.
Okay, fine. Whatever. The heart chakra is one of my favorite places to focus my Reiki practice. I think this might be both like on one hand, it is a really great, easy place to put your hands at any given time in the day. But because it's like very much, it feels like the energetic center, it is such an easy spot for energy to flow in both directions. I feel like when I go into my heart with any kind of energy work, it's like taking the fast lane, you know? I'm getting straight to the source. I'm getting right to the heart of it.
Hey.
Hey.
Pew, 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 pew.
And it really makes it feel like a whole body session, even when I'm heart focused.
Well, with Reiki specifically, you're creating a circuit, right? Because the energy flows in from crown to heart to hands, and when your hands are on your heart, back to your heart. So that's why oftentimes it feels so much stronger, because you literally are getting the energy from both directions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Reiki because not just like the energetic practice, but the principles of the practice are all about like coming back to self and coming home to your authentic self, and like peeling away the layers that cause us to hide, really, both from ourselves and from the world. And so, yeah, I think whether you're doing the energy work aspect of the practice or just walking the principles of like, just for this breath, I'm not going to worry. Just for this breath, I'm not going to anger. Just for this breath, I'll be grateful, etc. You're working with that heart center. It's like Reiki's my number one. Whenever I feel disturbance in the force of my heart, I love to work on the heart. Also, like, not to geek out too much about, the science of the heart, but that's why you're all here. Your heart, your whole body has an electromagnetic field around it, but the one around your heart is between 60 and 100 times larger than the one around your brain.
Wow.
Yeah. And what we know about the heart is that when multiple beings are in the same space, their heartbeats start to synchronize. So spending time around people who also are doing this work on their own heart can be a really powerful way to create space for you to do this work as well. So noticing who you are around, who you are spending time with, again, those boundaries, right? Energetically are impacting you.
Yeah. It's almost like an energetic, like the idea that, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
Your heart is the sum of the 5 hearts that you're closest to.
Yeah. And that includes the 5 people you see most often on social media, or the 5 TV shows you watch most often, the 5 types of books you watch. Like, the media that you are consuming impacts you on that level as well. So maybe unfollow some people who don't make your heart happy.
I've been watching so much Love Island, I fear my heart might be British.
So long, London.
In it. Sorry. That was insensitive. It was rude to our British editor who's going to be listening to this.
Lily.
Sorry.
Okay, another practice that I really love is called a loving kindness practice, or metta bhavana, if you want to use the traditional term. But this is a practice of essentially extending affirmations of kindness, of goodwill towards yourself, towards someone close to you, towards a stranger, and then towards someone that you don't necessarily like, and then towards all beings everywhere. I do have a couple of guided meditations on my YouTube if you want to check that out, but I love this practice. I will never shut up about it. This has been a part of my personal practice since like I started meditating. And it's so powerful if you have someone in your life, whether it's a human you have to interact with, a boss, a political figure that you don't like. If there is someone in your life that triggers you every time you see them or see their name to have a visceral reaction in your heart space, do a loving kindness practice for them. Mm-hmm. I know it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. You're going to be like, this person doesn't deserve my goodwill. But here's the thing. It's kinder to you and your heart to release that. Mm-hmm. And it does nothing for them if you hold on to it. Mm-hmm. And so the loving kindness practice, it's about developing universal, unconditional friendliness and that bringing that person in that disrupts that within you is the true test of is my friendliness, my kindness, my compassion, is it universal or does it have strings? And so it's a really, really, really powerful practice for forgiveness, for opening the heart, and for recognizing the people that might be in your life that have to be in your life one way or another that are triggering you and dissolving some of that emotional charge around it.
I love that. I have to ask you, is that why your email sign off is with loving kindness?
Yeah. So my teacher, Sejal Urlacher, who if you go on Amazon, she has 2 amazing books that I will plug here. But she introduced me to the practice. She introduced me to most of these practices, to be honest with you. I just love her to pieces. She used to sign off her emails with in loving kindness. And I always loved that because it always felt like that was the last takeaway of the email. No matter what the body of the email was, it was like, no matter what I send, this is sent with universal friendliness, with compassion, with kindness. And so I adopted that when I started sending emails, you know?
When I started sending emails.
When I started sending emails, like in personal emails or business emails or whatever, because I always want to sandwich what I'm sending with that energy of loving kindness. And for me, when I type that, it's this moment of reflection to be like, okay, is what I just wrote through the lens of loving kindness? Mm-hmm. And it just gives me a moment of pause and hopefully like gives you a moment of pause to remember like, yeah, we can bring this into something as simple as our email.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Next on our list is my personal soapbox. You might not know this about me. I'm sure I've talked about it at some point on this podcast. I'm a big advocate for crying.
We have. We talked about it in the birthday episode.
Great. Yes, you're right. We did. It went on. Okay. So you already know the basics. You know the basis of my stance here. But if you were ever a kid who was told growing up that you are too sensitive, the next 2 minutes are for you. Because I really truly believe as the kid, I was the poster child for you're too sensitive. I truly, as a child once, cried too much to be allowed in gym class. It wasn't even, I was too young for it to even be gym class. It was like outdoor. It was like recess, but not recess. I don't know. Whatever. I cried too much to be a team player when my second grade class played soccer together. People who cry, people who are sensitive, I really think that you have such a strong, solid heart center. And that is verbally and emotionally beaten out of us as we get older, as we are told you're too sensitive. And so this is me giving you permission to cry over whatever the fuck you want to cry about. Even if you don't want to cry about anything at all and it's just, I just want to cry to feel the release of tears, fucking cry. I love to cry.
Yeah, crying is the best.
And I will no longer apologize for it. It feels so good to let the energy go that way.
Yeah. See, I was the opposite. I was the kid that never cried. It was like I broke my elbow and did not cry.
We would not have been friends, I fear.
Yeah,
you would have been like, who is this girl?
I would not have been, except I was like, I didn't cry because I was too busy helping everyone else around me. So we probably actually would have been best friends, but I would have not let you in at all. And I had to do a lot of work on my heart center.
And I would have been crying, wondering why you don't trust me enough to cry in front of me. I would have been like, Molly doesn't even like me.
But now I'm a big movie, TV show, book crier. I love a book that's going to make me sob. I just read, okay, here's my book rec. Here's my book rec for people who want to cry. I want you to go read Book Lovers by Emily Henry. It's a cute little rom-com. There's some slight smut in it, you know, just a little sprinkle to keep you interested. Very cute, very predictable plot. I cried at the end multiple times. Like the last 5 chapters, I think I was just like, It's so good. So good. 5 stars. Might be one of my favorite reads of the year. I'm not going to lie.
I also have a book rec for those who want to cry.
Okay, perfect.
Very, very different book.
Oh, love it.
It's called Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. There are no words for how this book made me feel. I think really this is my book rec for if you want to feel your feelings and feel all of your complicated feelings about the world, about family, about yourself. It's so good. It's so good. I met Kaveh Akbar once when I was in college, long before he wrote this book. And I will bring it up at any opportunity given because he is a genius person and it's incredible.
Yeah. I also recommend creating a crying playlist.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like, I have 2 songs that no matter what will make me sob to the point where I will need a nap. Mm-hmm. One is Constantine by Something Corporate, which is a 9.5 to 10.5 long piano ballad, depending on what version you listen to. If you were an emo kid in the early 2000s, you know this song. It's my favorite song of all time. And then the second is a new release by Aaron Carter. May he rest in peace. It's called Recovery. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful song. He actually wrote it in 2014 or 2015, and he toured with it for a while, but never had a studio release. Mm-hmm. But it's about his recovery journey after his sister Leslie died of an overdose. Mm-hmm. And his sister Angel just like put it on Spotify a couple months ago. Oh my God. I can't, like, I have to turn it off if I'm driving because I will like sob to the point where I can't drive when I listen to it.
I, again, have a vastly different recommendation for songs to cry to. Okay. So my current song, when I just had a huge realization, again, I fear we might be on different parts of TikTok with this one, but are you aware that it is currently Brat Summer?
Yes, I have heard of Brat Summer.
Okay. So that's Charlie
XCX.
XCX.
Right to the core.
Okay. Have you seen the cover for that album?
No.
She's doing the dance.
I've just seen the dance.
Okay. Well, I'm going to show it to you really quick. So that song, very clearly about, you know, family trauma.
Okay, yes. I've seen the cover, the green thing. Yeah. That's the cover.
Bright green cover.
Oh, the same color as your water bottle.
Okay, this is whatever. We're not gonna hash out that argument again. But there are 2 songs on Charlie XCX's new album, Brat, that is very, like, they're all very pop songs. You'll start to listen to them and be like, why is Madison crying to these songs? But one is called I Think About It All the Time. Mm-hmm. And the other one is called Girl So Confusing. Okay. I Think About It All the Time is about, like, the inner struggle, the decision to have children. You actually have to listen to it. Like, it's bonkers because I truly, like, the beat is like, yes, like party girl, club classic, we're going off. And then the lyrics, I'm like actually crying in my car.
Wow.
And then Girl So Confusing, you might have heard on TikTok, there was Lorde has a verse on a version of it. And it's about like the complex feelings that come with female friendships and not knowing if someone really likes you or letting your own insecurities get in the way of your friendships. It's just so good. And I really do cry to both of those songs. Highly recommend crying to the Brat album.
There we go. There's our Rex.
There's our media interlude. Not sponsored by any of these things. We're just giving all this free promo. Not that Charlie XCX needs it from me, but
hey, man, just so you know, streams of Recovery by Aaron Carter go towards his son and also mental health organizations. So
we'd love to see it.
You should also stream that in between your Brat Summer.
We would make the world's wildest playlist between the 2 of us.
Should we?
Should we?
Wait, but should we?
I feel like we have to.
All right. Maybe we will.
There may or may not be a Spotify link in the show notes.
Maybe.
Could be fun.
Could be fun. Oh. Okay, next one. While you're crying, maybe you take yourself a self-love bath. And a self-love bath could just be, I call it the bath of my favorite things. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is my self-love bath. All right. So I have a bath pillow and I have a bath tray that goes across my bathtub. With my self-love bath, I get myself a plate and I make myself a girl dinner of all of my favorite snackies. Mm-hmm. So I've got gummy bears. I've got chocolate nubs. I've got, gluten-free pretzels and chips and popcorns and everything. I've got my favorite tea. Got a big old kettle of it. Got my smut book on my Kindle, which is waterproof. Mm-hmm. And maybe I throw some herbs in there. Throw them in a little baggie. Some rose. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about herbs in a little bit, but you could throw them in a little baggie and toss them in your water. Turn yourself into a human simmer pot.
Mm-hmm. I love a bath.
Love a bath.
I think really what it is more than anything is it's dedicated time that you truly cannot be productive. It's
throw
time
your
that
phone on the other side of the room.
Yeah, you have no choice but to just be.
Yeah.
And that's the most heart healing thing of all, of giving yourself permission and space to be and feel without expectation.
And it's very cleansing too. Mm-hmm. Love a bath. Love a bath.
Love a bath. Next on our list is really it's a form of leading with the heart, which kind of ties into the loving kindness that you were talking about, but choosing to lead with empathy. Mm-hmm. I do this practice the most when I'm driving.
Ooh, yeah.
So next time you have a shitty commute, making the decision to, when someone cuts you off, assume the best in them.
Yeah.
I heard somebody put it this way, and it really changed my perspective a few months ago, of that, when you're driving and you make maybe a calculated risky move and you maybe cut someone off or you stop short or something, your brain instantly goes to all of the reasons that you had to do that. Mm-hmm. You're you immediately extend that empathy to yourself.
Yeah.
When someone else does it to you, they're immediately an asshole, which, I am very much of that way. And I've made it a pretty consistent practice to, when someone makes a decision while driving, and obviously not something that's clearly dangerous and, reckless driving or drunk driving or something. I'm not, but small moments of empathy of oh, this person was in the far right lane and all of a sudden had to get to the left lane. I know I've done that 82 times in the last 3 months of realized that I needed to turn left when I was about to turn right. Mm-hmm. Looking at that person and going, ugh, I hope your day gets better.
Yeah.
I hope your GPS gets off the fritz.
I like to do this with emails and text messages because it's so easy to just assume the worst when there's no context.
I read every email ever sent to me as if the person's yelling.
You literally do. You have so many times you have sent me screenshots of DMs from people and you've been like, why are they mad? And I'm like, no, I actually think they're complimenting you.
I think everything's fine. No, I am immediately with textual communication. It's like that Key and Peele skit. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay, well, hold on. Well, I'll have to make you watch it, but it's basically Key and Peele are texting. And one of them is, I haven't seen it in probably years, but one of them thinks that they're making these really exciting plans to hang out and have a party. And the other one thinks that they're planning to meet up and fight. Because the other, they're so mad at each other.
Yeah. See, I do that with my hate comments. I just assume the best. And it's so funny because one time I got a comment that, looking at it from the outside, you'd be like, this person is an asshole. And I just responded with empathy. I just answered their question honestly. And they're like, thank you so much. Nobody's ever answered me. I can't remember what it was, but they were genuinely curious.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. And I actually had someone, I was on a professional meeting with a brand or something. And they were I was looking through your comments and every time you get a mean comment, you respond with such compassion. How do you do that? And I was like, I just assume everyone's doing their best. Mm-hmm. And and if they are being a dick, hitting them with kindness really throws them off.
Uh-huh.
The person who was someone just commented, I got my first body shaming comment. 4.5 years on the internet, I got my first body shaming comment. I was I feel
it's a rite of passage.
I know. I was like, wow. Outside of people making fun of my eyebrows, nobody has ever commented on my body. But this person was like, the comment was something like, if only you put this much effort into the gym. And I was like, what do you mean?
That, like, the kind feigning of ignorance of like, oh, I'm confused. Can you explain this to me?
Yeah.
That is the best way to respond to any kind of like assholery.
Yeah. I was like so unbothered by it. It's really easy to become less bothered when you just assume the best of people and assume that they don't know how to communicate what they're actually trying to say, because then they have to walk themselves into it.
Mm-hmm. And it is a form of empathy of like, I'm giving you the opportunity to
delete your comment,
to look at yourself with clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, because you mentally answer that question without thinking of like, oh, what I'm saying is that you should go to the gym because I don't think that your body is appealing.
Yeah, which is essentially how he responded, by the way.
Oh, unfortunately, that is hilarious.
Which then my response was, oh, that's so cute that you think I care about what a stranger on the internet thinks about my body.
That's so interesting. You should do some
so cute.
You should do some inner work on that. Why you think that's important?
I know. I was like, weird that you would take time out of your day. Anyways, that's a sign of someone with a imbalanced heart, honestly. Because like
big time.
We can think those inside thoughts. Oftentimes we have these thoughts about people, about places that we would never say out loud. And then we have a second thought where we go, ooh, where did that come from? Mm-hmm. It's the people who don't have that second thought and just post that first thought that I go, oh, somebody needs to work on their heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hundo P. The
next one, speaking of that, is to create a forgiveness list. So this is a list of things that you are holding grudges for, whether it's things you did that you're holding grudges against yourself, that thing in middle school you did that you can't let go of, right?
That is the work that I've been doing recently. Seriously, make a list of all of the things that like you wake up in the middle of the night and cringe at yourself for what you did. Write them all down and give yourself permission to let it go.
Maybe do a loving kindness meditation, and the person that you bring up is that version of you.
Is 12-year-old you. Mm-hmm. Now that is some powerful shit.
There we go. While you're doing some Reiki on your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, in a self-love bath.
In the bath, while you're crying.
Yes. And listening to Brat Summer. Love it. But then other ways that you can do this is by connecting with your community, calling a friend, getting involved in your community. I know whenever I feel like my heart is struggling, I'm struggling to access my heart, I go and work from the local coffee shop and just like be around my community and be in like space, go to the library, whatever, take a walk downtown, say hi to people, smile at people when you walk by them on the street. We became a Jeep family. And I don't know if you've ever driven around. I don't know if you've ever driven around in a Jeep, but people wave at you when they're also in Jeeps.
Oh, yeah. Did people do the little duck thing?
We have one duck. We have been ducked once.
Do you have ducks on the way yet for you to duck other people?
No. We have one duck, and ironically, it's a duck with a heart on it.
Cute.
But yeah, everyone waves at you when you have a Jeep. And so it's like, it forces you to like feel connected to people. It's very interesting. So one of my friends does this. She calls it her mayoral walk. She's not the mayor of her city, LA, but she just walks around as if she were the mayor and just waves and says hello to everyone she interacts with. And I was like, that's so cute. And she's like, she works from home. She works by herself. And she's like, it's sometimes the only interaction with people I get. And I'm like, I love that. That is so sweet.
That is so tender. I'm obsessed with that.
I know. So go on a mayoral walk. How do you pronounce that word?
I think you did it right. That's how I would have said it.
Mayoral?
Do we look it up? Hold on.
How do you pronounce mayor?
Mayor?
Mayor.
Mayor pronunciation.
Doesn't sound right.
Hold on. Oh, no. There's a practice feature. Yeah. Google says mayoral.
Okay, great. Yeah, anyways, go on a mayoral walk. Call a friend.
Mayoral.
Mayoral. Start a podcast with your bestie. Whatever you do that makes you feel connected to yourself and to your community. Okay, if you are in a position where you care for other people at work, you're a nurse, you're a teacher, you're a advocate, you're whatever you do that you care for other people, you have to help other people through their emotional problems. Therapists, right? Practicing disconnecting from your clients at the end of your workday is so important because we can inadvertently like carry their energy and it weighs on the heart. It makes the heart feel really heavy. So some ways that you can do this. I know when I was an advocate, movement was the best way for me. So I would stop at the gym, even if I just was at the gym for 5 minutes, did one exercise before going home. I did some form of movement on my way home. I drove right by the gym, stopped, changed my clothes. Changing your clothes is a great way to disconnect because like you're physically shedding their energy. Or, you know, getting yourself a little treat. I've been really into the crispy Sprite at the McDonald's lately. Just get yourself a Sprite.
Crispy Sprite.
Oh, they're so good. So that's my when I feel like my heart feels real heavy. I just take myself out, buy myself a $1.26 crispy Sprite, and just, you know, listen to my music. But finding a practice that disconnects you is really powerful.
And I don't know if you'll know what I'm saying when I say this. So tell me if this makes sense to you. Carbonation feels very cleansing to me.
Yeah, because
like,
the burps.
Yeah, the burps.
Burping is a way of clearing energy.
So true.
Yeah.
There's something about the way that like a cold carbonated drink feels.
Yeah. I'm getting one right after this.
Oh, that's a really great idea. I might join you.
I mean, in different states. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like energetically.
Oh,
emotionally
cute.
And spiritually.
Connected.
Exactly.
Connected.
I'm in my heart center.
Oh, yeah. See, there's like so many cute ways that you can connect with your community or your bestie, even if they live far away. Both get crispy Sprites at the same time, or like Madison and I will just voice memo or send updates throughout our day, even if the other person's busy and doesn't respond. It's like I might come back to like 10 messages from Madison. I know exactly what she's doing at any moment of any time, any day.
Something that we sometimes do too is like, because we both work from home, we'll open Zoom. Usually it's after we record.
Yeah.
We'll record, finish, whatever, and then just sit in silence and get our work done.
Yeah.
On Zoom.
That's an ADHD life hack right there.
Oh, yeah, big time. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah, I actually have a virtual co-working group that I do this with. They are called Spacetime Monotasking. I'll leave a link for them in the show notes, and if I can get a discount code for you, I will get one. I think I used to have one, but it's amazing. It's these 2 neurodivergent humans that I've known for years thanks to TikTok. One of them is a graduate of my Reiki training. Just fucking love them to pieces. And we just get on Zoom together. They host virtual co-working sessions. We just get on Zoom. We all set an intention. We turn our mics off. Some of us turn our cameras off and we just work. And the body doubling is like so powerful. I literally, when I have tasks that I don't want to do, that my ADHD is just like putting off, like cleaning my bathroom, doing admin work, cleaning my office, I will do them on those sessions. And it's like all of a sudden I've gotten a whole day's work done in an hour. It's amazing. And it makes me feel so connected. Like that was one of the things I said to them when I first started going, was when I first became self-employed, and I literally, there were days where I didn't see another human outside of my family.
Yeah.
And it just was nice to be able to see and interact with people in the middle of my day.
And if you've been listening to this podcast for a little while, you might already be doing one of our favorite heart chakra healing low effort rituals, which is implementing magic moments into your routine. Small moments of gratitude, they really do pile up. And I have seen such a difference in how I see the world since we started doing magic moments. It really does like lead my whole week of like when good things happen, I'm so much more likely to point them out and make a mental note of them because I have the accountability of sharing them. So maybe going back to connectivity, find an accountability buddy for your magic moment. Do it just this, literally sit and send a voice note of your magic moment to your bestie. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you don't have a bestie that understands magic moments, post them to your Instagram story and tag us and we will cheer you on.
Yeah. Send them in our DMs.
Yeah, at Demystify Magic. We love to hear your magic moments. And I've heard from so many people who've been listening to the podcast for a couple months or even longer for some people. who've been doing magic moments, and they have said the same thing. Like their whole perspective has completely shifted once they started implementing magic moments. Some of them, someone said that they do it with their kids around their dinner table every night.
Oh, it's so cute.
That's so cute. But you could keep a magic moment journal, or what I do is I have a nice little sticky note here that is covered in coffee and foundation, but it has all my magic moments from the week.
I love that. That's so cute.
I love that. Before we go, some crystals that you can use. Rose quartz is like the quintessential heart chakra healer. You know it. You love it. Very inexpensive, easy to find. Maybe you have not explored epidote, though, and that is my favorite crystal for grief. So if you're struggling with grief, epidote is a good one. Green aventurine, another good one for the heart, and rhodonite, great one for self-love.
And for some herbs for your self-love bath, I would recommend rose, obviously. Again, we know her, we love her. But also hawthorn berries. And I say this because they're also really great for courage, which is something that feels really strongly tied to the heart for me. Molly's laughing because she has no idea what a hawthorn berry is, and we talked about it before. Or what else are you laughing at?
I was just laughing at... So prior to coming on, when we were making this list, I was like, what's a hawthorn berry? And Madison's like, oh, it's like from the hawthorn tree. And I was like, all I know is Hawthorne Heights. And she's like, what? Oh. And then I went, so cut my wrist and block my eyes.
And then immediately, of course, I knew. I thought, whatever. My brain's, I'm at half mast. And then finally, some lavender.
Lavender.
All right. Did we do it? Is that the heart chakra?
I think we got to the heart of the issue.
I think we got to the heart of the matter.
Yeah. I'm pumped to see what people think about this.
I don't think you could beat it if you tried.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison. If you want to learn more about us, you can find all our links in the show notes.
We'd love to know what you think of today's episode, so drop us a review or give us a shout out on social media. And don't forget to let us know your magical moment of the week. Okay, love you. Bye.